Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge. My name is Howard Pinsky, Senior XD Evangelist here at Adobe, and a big good morning, afternoon, or evening to everyone joining us live here on Behance. If you are tuning in live, definitely let me know where you are, who you are, and where you're tuning in from. Words are hard this morning. We've got Ariana and Anna and Cars, Greg, Brittany, and there's me in there. We've got El Mahid. If I mispronounce anyone's name, I do apologize. Tim is in the house, Nyasha. Everyone is in the house. Awesome. So thanks for joining me, and we have some great stuff coming up today. Day 7 of the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge is upon us, and Jennifer's tuning in from hot Arizona. Welcome. And Galaxia, I love that name, from Vancouver. Sam's in LA. Awesome. Kristen's also in LA. We can have a party in Los Angeles. Everyone over to my house. San Antonio, Rocket City. Ooh, awesome. That sounds exotic. And Boston. Cool. All right, so I'm going to hop over to my screen. Ariana's also from LA. She can join the party. All right. So if you're brand new to the XD Daily Creative Challenge, we're just about halfway through the second week. So another challenge is coming up, I believe, next week. But you still have time to take part in this challenge. So if you go to behance.net/challenge/XD, you get all the information you can possibly need. There's a big blue button at the top. Press the big blue button at the top, and I think it's still a register button, so you'll get notified when new challenges are released at 8 o'clock in the morning. Every single day, you will get a challenge. And then you're going to join us, or you can join us. I definitely recommend it in our community chat, which is powered by Discord. And here's Discord here. You can jump in here, introduce yourself, let us know, again, who you are, where you're from, what you do for a living. If you're brand new to XD, if you're brand new to the design world, maybe you're a carpenter who likes design and wants to get into UI and UX. We see that from time to time. You can chat, you can ask questions, but more importantly, you can also submit and give and ask for feedback. So you can submit your work in the design feedback section, and we have a ton of amazing designs that have come in over the last 2 weeks, and we got some great mentors, including Peter Del Tondo, we got Tim and Chris Cannon, Melody, Andrea, some of our new creative residents are in here. It's a good time. So just jump in there, throw your work in there, ask for feedbacks, try to be specific about what feedback you want to get. And then also give feedback. If you receive feedback, turn around and help someone else out. All right, so we've got some more people coming in. We got Megan and Kristen, I think, was already here. And who else? Vinay, Samuel, Richard, Oliver from Canada. Welcome, everyone. All right, so what do we have going on for today? Well, last week we started out with a landing page refresh. We went to the search experience, a navigation experience, marketing priorities, mobile splash screen, mobile home screen, and today we're going to kind of dive deeper into that marketing experience and go over some of the booking experience. So we're going to take some of those deal cards that we created and we're going to expand on them and see what an individual one looks like and hopefully help somebody actually book some of their travel. So we're going to jump right into it. Let me hop over to Adobe XD right over here. And here's kind of where we're at, right? We started last week with our simple landing page. And again, we built out a little bit more of a refined search experience. We tackled the navigation. We added some of these cards right here. And then we kind of dove into some mobile experience. And we created this really cool, I want to play this again because I love this thing. We created this cool splash screen animation that transitions into a login experience. Let me play that one more time because it's so fancy. Ooh, you notice that logo at the top also kind of animated as well, and I might touch on that at some point in the future. Booplicious from India, yes, welcome, and big shout out to everyone tuning in from India because it's midnight over there right now. I'm in bed at 9 o'clock at night. I don't know how you're all up at midnight watching me. I would do better things with my time than watch me, but hey, thank you, I appreciate that. And then yesterday, we kind of started grabbing some of the elements from our desktop view and started creating a mobile app. And I did refine some of this last night, and I made this experience a little bit better. I added a little bit of a down chevron, which may not make 100% sense now that I'm looking at it, but I added a search icon at the top and a menu. So what you're able to do is just click on this, it kind of expands, you can click on it again, and it hides it. So what we're going to be doing now is we're going to take one of these lovely planets, and we're going to build out an additional screen to see more details and have an actual booking experience. And Lena's saying the little cloud passing by looks so amazing. Yeah, I added that in as like just a little, you probably notice it. Whoop, right there. There it is. There it goes. Added a little bit of a background blur to kind of blend it. No blending modes just yet, but you know, it's fun. All right, so here we go. We're gonna create another artboard. Boop, there, where'd you go, artboard? Up there, why are you up there? All right, here we go. So we've got an artboard here. And again, we're gonna be basically grabbing one of these planets. I'm not sure which one, we'll figure it out. And we're gonna create an additional artboard for that particular planet. So here we go, we're gonna begin. I'm gonna start very simple, very similar to what I have here. And you know what, I can probably just grab some of these elements, copy them, and paste them. There we go, and I probably don't want this as large, so I'm gonna just drag this in a little bit. And maybe just to get a little bit fancy, I might wanna round out the corners. Let's go for, let's say 32. And maybe I don't want the rounded corners at the top, so I'm just gonna hold down my Alt-Option key. Let me zoom in here so you can see. I'm gonna hold down my Alt-Option key and just drag on this corner, and that will either round out or sharpen just that corner. And I can do the exact same thing for the one on the left as well. There we go. So now that we have this, we probably want a different image at the top so it's not repetitive. I'm gonna hop over to Finder. There we go. And let's go ahead and grab, which image looks good? This one looks pretty cool. That one looks pretty good. I love this art style. Let's start with this one and we'll see what that looks like. That looks pretty good. We can always change it if we wanted to. And now we want a few additional things on this artboard, right? We want the name of the planet, we want how far or what system it's located in, how far it is, and we have a lot of that data already in our repeat grid. So let me go ahead and just grab, let's go for this one here. I'm just gonna grab some of this information, copy it, let me undo that, and then paste it. Super simple. I might also want some guides on this artboard, and I have my guides set up on this artboard here, so all I have to do is click on the artboard, go to View, Guides, Copy Guides. If you're on Windows, you just right click, go to Guides, and then Copy Guides. And then on this artboard, View, Guides, boop, paste. All right, so I'm gonna make this a little bit larger. Let's go for, I don't know, 32 possibly. Again, I like 32, it's a good number. I'm 32, by the way, so maybe that's kind of why I'm gravitating towards it. And I'll move this down. This needs to be a little bit larger. We'll go for 16. Doesn't have to be too big, and pop it right about there. All right, and maybe I'll just jump this to regular. Whoops, regular, there we go. All right, so we've got the name of the planet, we've got the system, we've got the light years. Again, all of this, we're kind of reusing some of the information from our other artboards. We may also want a little bit of a heart icon so people can favorite this. So I'm gonna grab my ellipse tool, draw out a little circle right about here. That looks good. I'll turn off the border. Now, it's kind of blending in with the background. So what I'm gonna do is just add a little bit of a shadow, just crank up the blur a touch, and then drop the opacity so it's not super crazy, but it's enough that it's separating it from the background. And now I can just grab our little heart icon, which I believe I also have one in, if I go over here, in our icons. We have a little heart icon, so you can use that as well. Cars says, 32, you look 23. Oh, thank you, Cars. I appreciate that. I'm gonna paste my heart right here. Beautiful. And now I have a little heart icon that someone can just favorite. Perfect. All right, so now we want some additional information below. I'm gonna get a little bit social with this one. So I'm gonna grab my ellipse tool. I'm gonna create a little bit of a gallery of users or people who have maybe been to this planet, right? Or recently. So I'm gonna just grab that, put that there, change the color just so I can see it. And I might want to turn this into a repeat grid. So over here, I'm gonna just press the repeat grid button. Boop, there we go. And now I can just drag out, let's say we'll do 4 people going across. And I'm going to hop over to Finder one more time. I've got these great colorful photos and just drag them all directly into this repeat grid. And if I needed to, I can just double click and adjust the mask so they're all visible nicely. Now, looking at this, I probably don't want them so spaced out. I kind of want them overlapping a little bit. So all I can do is you can just drag this outwards if you wanted to, but you can also drag it inwards. So I'll just do about -10 so they're kind of overlapping. Then I might want some indication of what this area is. So I'm gonna just type out, let's say, John, Maria, and 2 others recently visited. just like that. And it's probably a little bit too large. Let's go down to maybe 14 and just drop the opacity a touch. There we go. So now that we have a little bit of socialization going on in our app, it's about 8 pixels from the side. That looks pretty good. All right. Now, of course, I'm looking at this and I'll probably make a few changes on how things are spaced out. But to save a little bit of time, I'll just leave things kind of as is right now. Now, underneath, we need some more information on this actual planet. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to type out explore. This will kind of be a header for explore for longer text. And I don't know how to spell this random planet, so I'm going to just paste it right there. Maybe make it a little bit larger. Let's go for 16 and, you know, regular, maybe bold. Bold looks pretty good to kind of draw someone's eye. And then below, we need some paragraph text. So I'm going to grab my text tool and just draw out just like this across my document, across my artboard. And whoops, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. Draw this out. There we go. I'll just type in whatever. It doesn't have to be anything for now, because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using a plugin. And I have the Lorem Ipsum plugin installed. You can also access this in your plugins panel over to the left. And I'm just going to fill with placeholder text, make sure there's a period at the end, line breaks fine, and boop, there we go. Now I have some placeholder text. And maybe drop this just a touch, and maybe drop the opacity just a little bit. Perfect. All right, things are starting to shape up. Make sure this is looking good. And maybe right below this, we might also want a gallery of images. So I'm gonna just grab my rectangle and draw one out like this. Again, repeat grid, Command and Control R, and just drag out a few going across the artboard. And then I might want some additional images. I've got some space images going on here. Let's go for, I'll just grab this image, all of these images look pretty good. I lost my chat, there we are. And just drag them directly into any of those rectangles. Perfect. All right, so now that we've got some more information about the planet, we've got, what do we have? Images, and we've got social icons and things like that. We need a way to actually start the booking process. So what I'm gonna do is at the bottom, I might want a little bit of an area that will help us do just that. But I'm gonna get a little bit fancy again, right? So I want an area down here that's gonna be a little bit red that really stands out. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna grab my rectangle. I'm gonna draw out an area around all this information here. Make sure that this snaps really nicely to my artboard. And I'm gonna round out the bottom corners by 32 pixels, just like I did at the top. Again, getting a little bit fancy. Of course, you don't have to go this fancy if you're not comfortable with Adobe XD, but you definitely can as well. So I'm gonna select all this information and just group it, boop, Command or Control G, and this will be info. And I'm gonna make sure to move it to the back. So now all this information is kind of back here, but it's kind of blending in with the background. So what I'm gonna do is select the artboard. I can double click on it, press my eyedropper tool, and just sample this red color over here. Now I have this area at the bottom that I can use to have a call to action. So this will be book your travel, just like this. Make this nice and large, and I might want to go for something white, and maybe we'll go nice and heavy as well. Whoops, I can't spell either. Book your travel. That looks a little bit better. Maybe I'll make it a touch smaller. And this will be a nice call to action. They can either swipe this up or they can click on it, and they will be able to start their booking process right from here. I can make this a little bit larger. There we go. Whoops. All right. Now what I might want to do is to indicate that they can swipe this up, I might want to grab a line and just add a little bit of a line right here. Maybe I'll increase the size to about 3 pixels. Oop, not 11. 3 pixels. And then round out those caps, and then drop the opacity just a touch. Somewhere right about there. Position it in the center. There we go. So now, users might have a little bit of an indication that they can, swipe that up to get to more information. All right. Now, this screen is more or less done. I would probably make this a little bit smaller down here if we had some more time, but I want to get to the next screen because that's where some additional information is going to be displayed. So I'm going to duplicate this artboard over to the right, Command or Control D, boop, there we go. And Syed is asking how many pixels being used as a guide from the screen edge. I believe I'm using 32, and if I hold down on the guide, yep, 32 pixels from the edge on each side. Now on this screen, because we might want to swipe this up, I'm simply going to grab this group that we created and just drag it up, just like this. And I might want a little bit of that just displaying right there so that they know they can grab that and swipe it back down. And now I can start rearranging this and adding some more information. And just so we're not recreating everything from scratch, I can always just jump in here into my other artboards, grab some of this stuff, or if they're saved as components, you can very easily just grab them from your assets panel, copy this, hop over here, and paste. And now we've got some more information that users can go through and fill out. Now I might want also some icons to indicate where you're starting from and where you're ending up. So I'm gonna hop over to my trusty Nucleo app. Let's type in Earth, Earth, there we go. Where is Earth here? We got Earth right here. I'll make this white. Perfect, that looks good. I'll make sure to line it up with the text, or maybe I'll inset it just a little bit. And then I'm going to also create, let's just like a planet, a ringed planet. I think I used that on the navigation at some point. And I probably have to bring that navigation bar back, but you know what, I'll deal with that at some point. Move this inwards a little bit, and we might want some sort of a line going from Earth to this other planet. So I'm gonna grab my line tool, shortcut key L, and just drag one out across my artboard like this. I can make sure to center it. And then what I'm going to do is set the color to white and just increase the dash a little bit, just like this. There we go. So now we have a nice little line going across from Earth to this other planet, and we might want to indicate which of these planets are which. So I'm gonna just type out Earth. That's a little bit too large, so let's go for regular and just drop the size a little bit. I can either do it there in my properties inspector or just grab the little handle and drag it inwards. Let's go for 12, looks pretty nice, and pop that right about there. All right, yeah, there we go. Snaps into place. I can duplicate that, and this will be, what is this planet called? I don't even know what this is. How do you pronounce that? I have no idea how to pronounce that. There we go. And then just position that, make sure to select all these. I'm gonna make sure to group them to keep everything nice and organized. And this will be, I'll just call this trip. So Samuel's asking, do you create sketches before doing these layouts? I don't typically create sketches, not for the daily creative challenges, but I do plan these out sort of in advance, but sometimes you have to improvise. So some of this might be kind of just doing things on the spot. Now for these, I might want these fields to stand out a little bit. So I'm gonna just select this field, maybe add a little bit of a shadow in the background. And I might wanna make that shadow a touch red, just so it's not super dark. Maybe make it a little bit blurrier and increase the opacity a touch. Just a very subtle shadow. And you can kind of see the difference between this one and this one. You don't wanna go too harsh with your shadow, because then it looks really strange. Like if you just do this, for example, that just looks unpleasant. But if you just do a very subtle shadow, it's there, but it's also not there, right? So now I can select this one, copy this, then select this field, hold down Command or Control, so Command on the Mac, Control on Windows, and Shift, and then click on this one over here. It'll select both of these fields. Now all I have to do is right-click and paste appearance. It'll take the appearance, the properties from the layer that I copied, and paste it on these ones without affecting anything else, which is really nice. So now that I have this set up, I might want some sort of a button at the bottom that actually allows us to book the travel. And in this case, we're gonna get fancy again. It might not make perfect sense at the moment, but I'm gonna drag out some sort of a circle, and this will house a rocket. So back over to Nucleo, I'm gonna just type out rocket, drag in, which rocket do I want? This rocket here, that looks pretty cool. Drag in there. And this will be once you're all finished with your booking. And let me know in the chat, because there's probably a lot you can do with a travel experience for intergalactic travel. So let me know what other information I'll probably need. I'll probably eventually have to do like a ship selector, depending on if you want a fancy ship or a personal ship or something like that. But yeah, let me know in the chat what other information we would need for something like this. So I'm gonna paste that shadow that I still have copied, and now I have a little rocket icon that you can use to actually confirm your travel. And again, it probably doesn't make super sense right now, but I'm gonna group it and just type out rocket. All right. So someone's asking, what is Nucleo? Nucleo is a third-party application. It's essentially an icon manager. They do have their own icons. I have not purchased them, but they do have their own icons. I believe it's $99 you can purchase them from. But because I already have icons that I've either purchased in the past or have been provided to me or I downloaded, I can just grab all those icons, throw them into Nucleo. That way they're all kind of in one place, so I can hop back and forth between different libraries and grab what I need. Economy ship, yeah. All right, so we've got pretty much both our artboards set up and looking okay. It's not looking perfect. I might want to make some changes up here, maybe move this down a touch, and maybe move the images up just so they're not, or maybe I can just like turn down the opacity a little bit. Just so that's there, so that if someone wants to slide this down, they can. Now, how do we actually prototype this and make this into something? So back over on these artboards here, what I'm gonna do is let's go back and make this a little bit longer. I think we did this yesterday as well. And I wanna make sure that this navigation bar down here is fixed into place. So in prototype mode, you're gonna make sure to select the navigation bar and you're going to press fixed position when scrolling. Boop, there we go. That way, when you're previewing your prototype, you can scroll down and that navigation bar will not move. I also added a little bit of a background blur to that navigation bar just to get fancy. All right, so now that that's done, we want to be able to, a user to be able to click on this planet and go to this new screen. So still within prototype mode, I'm gonna select that card, this one here. I can select these elements. Maybe, you know what, I'll probably wanna make sure they're grouped into a single group just to make it a little bit easier. So I'm gonna, whoops, I just hit Adobe XD. There we go, and just call this planet. Perfect. All right, so I have the group selected. I'm gonna drag this little blue handle over to this artboard that we just created. And in this case, we do want a tap trigger, and we're gonna stick with a simple transition right now. We'll get to auto animate in a second. And for the animation, we will have it, let's say, push to the left. We'll do ease in and out and 0.4 seconds. So now if we press play, scroll down, click on that, and our new screen slides in. Of course, we'd probably have a back button to go back as well, but we'll get to that at some point. Now from here, we might want a user to either swipe up on this group or click on book your travel to get to this artboard. So I'm gonna start with the swipe. So I'm gonna select this entire group, grab the handle, drag it to this artboard, and instead of a tap trigger, we want drag, which will automatically default to auto animate. We also want to give them options, so they can also select this, drag it over. This will be tap. We'll choose auto animate, and maybe we'll do in and out and 0.4 seconds one more time. All right, so let's see this all in action. I'm gonna press play, and Richard is saying make the navigation bar a component. I probably should. I haven't been very good with my components during this stream, but yeah, you should definitely make that your navigation bar's components, especially now that you can override them and change colors and things like that. All right, so we can scroll down, we can scroll up, we can click on our planet of choice, just like this. We can get some more information on it, and then we can just do this. Oh, you know what I did? You know what I did not do, actually? What I have to do is, in design mode, I have to select all these elements here. Whoops. Select all this stuff here. I'm going to paste them in a group with the book your travel. And I'm just gonna call this book, right? I'm gonna copy this. Let me just delete this on this artboard and paste it. And now I can move this stuff downwards, just like this. Ooh, that looks kind of nice, right about there. So we have kind of Earth to this, and everything else is kind of hidden off the artboard. Of course, you'd have to worry about the home indicator, but let's see this one more time before we wrap up. So I'm gonna just drag this up, and now we can book our travel. And of course, you can hook up a drag trigger to go back as well, or you can just click on this. Oh, I got rid of it, but you know, you got the idea. Let me just do the one more time. Drag this back. This will be drag. So you can go from this artboard to this artboard. There we go. So that will just about do it. We've been able to kind of put together a little bit of a booking experience. I would love to see what all of you come up with. I know you're gonna be a lot more creative than I have with this. Post it in Discord, post on Behance with the keyword XD Daily Challenge. And I will see you all tomorrow with day number 8 of the XD Daily Creative Challenge. This has been fun. We're getting somewhere. And I will see you all tomorrow morning.